Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Untitled Chapter. Today's the 26th of July 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a look at a few instruments I believe are quite important for today. But before we do that, of course, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute Also, just a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research. Well, first of all, specifically, of course, the JFD website. But then if you click here on JFD Research, it will take you to our page, which we update on a daily basis, and we throw out different separate technical analysis. And of course, we produce our daily and morning analysis, so which you can also check out. So yeah, feel free guys to have a look at our research page. But right now, let's jump into the charts. So the first one I want to touch on is the FTSE MIB. Now the Italian index here, we're seeing that yesterday we had a bit of a bad day here for the Italian index, and certainly we're stuck here in this some sort of a formation here. I mean, if you can probably class it as a formation, but nevertheless we're stuck in this, and but to be honest, probably more, which is more accurate here to say, would be that we are stuck in this little range here, and again, the word little here could be a bit relative, and the little here is the upper side we've got here, the 22,520, and the lower side is here, which is the 21,150. So we're stuck in this range here. Certainly there's a slightly smaller one which is running here. I'll get into that one when I'll jump into the 4-hour chart, but nevertheless, so for now it seems that the index just wants to continue trading here within this area. Let me just quickly get rid of this. So it just wants to trade here within this area. So of course we'll keep on monitoring it, but this is the point where probably I won't like to jump into the 4-hour chart, where we can examine this level right here. Now this level here is approximately around the 21,550 mark, so something like that. So if we get a nice break here today, for example, and if we get a nice close of, let's say, especially on the 4-hour chart, this could open the path towards these lower levels. Certainly, of course, keep in mind this lower side of the bigger range that we got here, the 21,150 that I was just talking about. And also, of course, keep an eye on these little smaller ones that could kind of play an act here, could maybe stall the price from dropping lower a little bit. And just to keep an eye on the area here is approximately around the 21,325, something like that, guys. So keep an eye on it, of course, but only, let's say, consider this area only if we get a nice break here below this 21,550 mark. So keep an eye on it. This could play out nicely. Certainly on the upper side, well, for us to kind of become more comfortable with the upside on the shorter term, from the shorter term perspective, I would probably need to clarify that we would need to see a nice good break here above these highs that we saw here on the 24th, so on Tuesday, and keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this 21,900 level, approximately there. So could be a good potential area of resistance initially, but if that gets broken, well, it could open the path towards this next potential area of resistance at around 22,200. So something like that, guys. So keep an eye on this one. Very good index to watch. I'm just going to put a few arrows here just to kind of show what I was talking about. And certainly, like I said, yep, keep an eye on the breaking points. We could potentially squeeze a nice trade out of it. So certainly, but at this point in time, this is looking more bearish than bullish. But of course, let's not over speculate too much, and let's see what he wants to do with this 21,550 level. Let's jump into Brent. Now, Brent Oil is a bit of a mixed one, let's say like that, because We have broken this upside support line, this, or should I say upside moving trend line. We've broken that one. This trend line has been running since since the June 2017. So now it acted as it continues to act as important area here, as which could probably indicate further either acceleration in the price, or actually a move lower. So, but for now we can see that kind of just this week is just moving up and down here. So even though we had a nice move here above it and we've closed above this, for us to become more bullish on this one, I would say, let's say like that, we would need to see a nice break here above this area here between the 75.85 and the 76.45 area. So keep an eye on this area, guys. I mean, if we get a nice break above this, then this could open the path towards these higher levels here that we saw in the beginning of July, and also maybe even going back towards this 80.50 zone, which was the highest point that we had here in May. So certainly keep an eye on it. But like I said, even though we got above this upside trend line, then, well, still nevertheless something could happen, and we could maybe see a sharp drop here, and probably this is gonna run like this for the remaining of the week, and probably the whole action could be coming in next week, because judging by this weekly candle, and it's just basically undecisive yet. I mean, it's trying to decide whether it wants to stay above this trend line or actually stay below it. So for now, guys, keep an eye on it. Certainly if we get either today or maybe tomorrow a strong push higher here, like I said, keep an eye on this area. We need to see a nice break and a close above this area in order to kind of become more bullish on this commodity. Let's jump into a few pairs now quickly, and the first one, of course, the euro dollar. As you probably are aware, today we got the ECB rate decision, and then it will be followed by the Mario Draghi speech, where we could see a bit of volatility kicking in into this one, and basically maybe finally we could get out of this range here that you can see here highlighted. So this range here is running, well, for quite a while now. I mean, since we got in here around the mid-May, yep, it found its support here at around 115, 100, then it tested it again, so it created this wide range here. So basically, for us to kind of become, or let's say to take any of the sides in a slightly longer term outlook, then we would need to see kind of either a nice break here above this 118,400 and a nice move, and then we could consider a nice move higher, or we would need to see a nice move below this lower bound of the range that I was talking about, and then we could start aiming for lower levels. But for now, until we're stuck here, it's of course it's a bit tricky. Certainly, let's put a 4-hour chart on this one, and from the slightly shorter term perspective, I mean, if we would like, I mean, for us to kind of become more bullish, and where we could start aiming for the upper side of the bound here, of the upper side of the range, we would need to see a nice break here above this 117.45 mark, approximately there, and of course a further continuation break of the 117.600. Now these two breaks could open the path towards higher levels, initially of course aiming for the 117.900, and well, if that doesn't hold, well, guess what, I mean, it is opening the path towards the 118.400. So basically we're waiting for a lot of breaks here, and just how I could sum up. And for now, at the moment, it's too difficult to say that it's going to actually go higher or lower. We need to wait and see for a confirming break. On the downside, a good one could be this break here below the 116.800 level, where we could then probably position ourselves for to target the 116.100, or even actually, let's probably move this a little bit. We do have this good potential area of support here at around 115.45 mark. Let me just quickly adjust this, and there we go. So this could be a nice potential area of support, but only if we see a nice good break here below the 118 sorry, 116,800. So keep an eye on it, guys. Keep an eye on the on this area, this little zone here on the short term. Let me just quickly actually probably highlight this for you so quickly. So what we're waiting for is a nice break here, either above this level here, the 117.45, or actually a nice break here below the 116,800 in order to kind of take either of the sides here, or can start considering either of the sides of the range. Let's have a look at the Euro Aussie, and the Euro Aussie, it's also, well, also likes to range here, as we can see, and it has been in this range since around the 27th of June, and certainly now we can see that this area here and here kind of continues to hold the rate within, and the lower side here is the 157 mark, and the upper side here is the nice 158.75 zone. So until basically we get out of or get through one of these, we're probably going to stick around here and just be neutral and just wait and see the movement within this range. So, but let's say looking at the shorter term, from the shorter term perspective, we do have some good areas here. Now probably this needs to get adjusted a little bit here, and this is the one that we need to mark at the moment. So this area here at around 157.85 could be a nice breaking point here if this index, if this pair wants to push higher. Certainly we would need to see a nice good break here above the 157.85 in order to kind of start considering higher levels, or even actually the upper side of the range. On the downside, well, because we actually are not far from this lower side of the range, and well, I mean, we could, with the downside, to be honest, we would be very cautious here. We would probably still wait and see if it breaks the 157 or not, or because like I said, at this point it's because we're seeing a bit of strength coming into this pair. This is the one that we're watching here, the level, the 157.85 could be a nice breaking point if this pair wants to continue pushing higher. So keep an eye on it, guys. Could be something interesting. Another one that I really wanted to quickly jump into, but probably not going to stay too much on it. So that's GBPUSD. Certainly, as you can see, the pair, the pair is having a nice week here. We're continuing to push higher. The pair met its resistance at around this level. I was talking about this level in my in one of my videos this week, and the 132.15 acts as a very good potential area of resistance here. We can see that it acted as a nice area of support, but then it got broken, and now, yep, we're testing this level again. Certainly keep an eye on it, because if we get a nice break here above this 132.15, well, this could open the path towards this one, towards this next potential area of resistance at around 132.70. So something, guys, to keep an eye on. Certainly the momentum is kind of still to the upside, and if we even actually draw something like this here, this kind of tentative, maybe we could probably call it, or upside support line, probably for us to kind of become, let's say, more bearish on the shorter term outlook, we would need to see a nice move here below this, well, actually initially a break of this support line, and then a move lower. But to be honest, it's a bit of a tricky one, because even if we get a nice break here below, that doesn't mean that from here it's going to start just selling off or something like that. Still, we would need to see some good areas of support getting tested. So one could be on the short term, from the short term perspective, one could be the 131.30 area, and then of course slightly below that we could end up moving towards this one right here at around 130.80. So, but that's of course if we get a nice break here below the support line and then below this 131.30 mark. So, but that's, like I said, this is what's in regards to the downside. But for now, keep an eye on this level right here, the 132.15. We could potentially get a break here. And the last pair that I really wanted to touch on quickly, guys, and that's the USDCAD. Now the USDCAD had a nice sell-off yesterday, and a lot of investors are jumping into the CAD again, and we've broken this key area that I was talking about. I was probably whenever I was discussing the USD CAD, I mean, I kept telling you guys about this 130, 125 mark, and you can see that it acted as a nice area of support, and then we've had a nice break here to the downside, and this is where the pair ended up, and it ended up around the 130 130.50 approximately there. Yep, something like that. But still kind of it looks weak, and we could probably see a move lower here, continuation move lower. The area that we're keeping an eye on is of course this area right here, which is around the 129.50 mark, and also it's not far from this upside support line. This upside support line has been running here since around the 2nd of February. So could play out as a nice potential bouncing ground initially. Maybe let's see what he wants to do with that. But then again, like I said, the pair looks weak, and we could end up dropping lower here. So keep an eye on the 129.50 now, guys. Could be a nice area of support, the initial area of support. Okay, thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful. And if you want to join me later on at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, I hope you have a good European session, and thank you very much, and bye-bye.